All right, Skull, everybody. And this is the QR code, and I'm Razor. My partner Q isn't here for this episode, but he'll be joining us at some point in the coming days for a preview of the season. But today, I'm joined by two gentlemen who run a fan club in Northern Virginia, and I'm joined by Rusty and Joel, and they're going to talk about their fandom. They're going to talk about the Vikings, and they're going to talk about the club. So. We just want to get started with you gentlemen can give us a quick introduction. Want to start with Rusty? Okay.
All right, Rusty O'Brien. I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and spent 27 years in the Air Force. In fact, I came back from England to the Pentagon November of 1994, and I was told about a Viking fan club called NoVa Vikes. When I went there, they had just started. I sat next to a guy named Joel Robertson, and we're still sitting next to each other 30 some years later.
Wow, that's longer than most marriages last.
Well, we're working on it.
All right. Sounds great. Sounds great. Okay. And now, Joel.
I'm originally from Argyle, Minnesota, a really small town in the northwest corner of the state. And so I've been a Vikings fan all my life. And 1990, I moved to Northern Virginia area. And I think Rusty and I met, I think it was either I believe it was 1993 or maybe
Four.
1994. That's when we got the fan club started. Myself, I would count Rusty as one of the kind of original members. One of the people that was very instrumental early on is Donnie Holler. He's kind of the person that got the fan club started. And then about 25 years ago or so, I kind of took over, and we've kind of just kept things rolling ever since then.
Nice, nice. So you started this back in the 90s. How big is the club now?
So I would say on our Facebook page, we're kind of approaching about 2,500 Vikings fans now.
Amazing.
All of those fans don't necessarily live in the Northern Virginia area.
Okay.
Um, they're from all over the country. But our typical, get together on a Sunday 1 o'clock game out here, we're pushing somewhere 175 to 225 Vikings fans on a regular basis.
Nice.
And if we have a big game, like a game against the Packers, we can be 340, 350 range. Playoff games in 2017, that season, that game for the Philadelphia playoff game,
I don't remember
yeah,
that one.
which we all hated. Um, I think we were somewhere between 550, 600 Vikings fans in the location we were at the
Yeah,
time.
it's hard to, we couldn't count. All I know is that the manager came up and said, we blew through the fire codes, we locked the doors.
I believe it. And I'm guessing that from the way that game went, a lot of people were hesitant and slow getting out of the exits afterwards. That's that one of the things about this team, and I'm originally from New York City. I grew up a Vikings fan. I latched onto them in '63 and '64, watching them on TV. Um, One of the things about this
Were you a
team is
Giants
that
fan?
mm, Vikings fan. Vikings fan. I saw them play the Giants on TV. I saw them play the Jets on TV. I thought it was so cool as a kid. Bud Grant let these guys go out and play out in the snow and the ice and everything else. And my mom said that I couldn't because it was too cold. I'm thinking, okay, what's wrong with this picture? And
And,
Bud,
and Razor,
yeah,
I'm from Long Island, and
okay.
I grew up as a Giants fan. And then in college playing football, I watched a game on Sunday, the Vikings playing, and they kept talking about Bud Grant and how I told my teammates, I said, look at that.
Mm,
A coach can be a hard ass, but the team still loves him. And
exactly.
from that point on, I became a Viking fan.
There you go. Okay, if you, I lived on Long Island for a bit, out in Nassau County, so it was
Where?
not too far from the Coliseum, and I met a bunch of Vikings fans
Uniondale.
out there. Yeah, yeah. I was in Garden City, so there you go.
Uniondale.
I met about 20 Vikings fans, displaced Vikings. I'm like, why are there so many Vikings fans out here? Oh, because the Jets stink and the Giants. It's like, okay, and once you see like three or four purple jerseys and they walk into a bar and they look around and they see, okay, yeah, this is the Vikings bar now. So it's always been a lot of fun. It has always I've enjoyed even with the suffering, I've enjoyed being a Vikings fan, and we're not bandwagon jumpers because the band's still playing, I guess. So, but we've never had a slump. One great thing about this team is that we're not the Browns. We don't go hopeless for 3, 4, 5 years. Every single season, there's like, well, it might be this year. So, so you guys started this. You started in '94, and it's been growing since then. And so you're both in Northern Virginia now.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And do you ever get to go to the games?
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to be going to the home opener in Minnesota coming up against the Falcons. And we've gone to a few games together, whether it's a road game or a game in Minnesota. And I want to say a few years ago, Minnesota played out here, played the Commanders out here. And of course, we had a pretty large group of people that went to that. I think we got over 300 tickets for the game. And I think we had about 1,000 people at our tailgate outside
Wow.
FedEx Field. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Not counting the Redskin fans.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
We were
exactly.
having more fun.
I kind of wish that I had known about you guys at that point. I was at that game. I was at the Giants game. Well, I've been at the last 4 or 5 times, and we'll be there again this year. Um, and again, the stadium turns purple by third quarter of those games.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Exactly.
And one of the things too, going to a Vikings home game, we haven't had a chance as a group to do that. But one of the things I did when they built the stadium in 2016, I got one of the legacy bricks for our group.
oh, did you? Okay.
So if you go to a home game, you can visit our brick there. It's kind of right back on the back side of the sail, and you can take some photos. And like I said, we do a lot of stuff on our Facebook page, post photos on the Facebook.
That is phenomenal. We went to the Patriots preseason game. I've been to more Viking games than I can remember, home and on the road, but this was the first time that my wife actually had seen a Vikings home game. So, and it was preseason, and that stadium is phenomenal. It's US Bank Stadium is absolutely
It
phenomenal.
is.
It's
Yeah,
in it, and it's home. I mean, I honestly I love the Metrodome. My heart is always in the Metrodome, but US Bank Stadium is taking a close second right now. So as far as the game, you said you've been to get. What was your favorite Viking game to go to, or to watch? Let's not narrow it down. Who wants either one or both of you? Which one?
okay. Uh, I think one of the games, of course, for all of us that kind of sticks out in our mind is the Minneapolis Miracle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
definitely.
had maybe 350 to 450 people
Yeah.
that time. We're a different place in those years, but I the attitude was just unbelievable, and it was like nobody wanted to leave that night.
Oh, I can imagine. I can absolutely because that game was basically over. Well, with the Vikings, it's never over. That's the thing. It's just
That's
never
right.
over. I was in Giants Stadium for that game where all the Giants fans who leave in the third quarter and in the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth, they're walking out and they're chanting "Vikings suck, Vikings suck." And I'm like, no, they don't. This is pre-internet days, obviously. Nobody had their phones in their hand getting the live scores. They're turning on the fan and out in the parking lot, and they're like, "Wait a minute, we lost that game." Yeah, you lost that game. We were up a minute and 19 seconds. Yeah, you lost that game. So that was both of your favorite games with the Minneapolis Miracle?
That's and
Absolutely.
that's yeah, that's one of the ones that just automatically stands out. You
Okay.
know,
Okay. Now the converse, what was your most heartbreaking game? Now you've got choice. I love it. Now there's a choice.
Now, yeah. Now we have to pick one, right?
Exactly. Now you got to pick one. These are the games that start me drinking. So,
so I'll let Rusty go first.
Uh, I'm going to say 1991.
Hmm, okay.
Losing the NFC Championship
Okay. That's,
overtime.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. That was a rough one.
And
What about
and,
you, Joe?
and I all of us as Vikings fans, we all have those heartbreak moments.
Mhm.
I might go back to the original one or one of the original ones, the Hail Mary against the
Okay, yeah,
Cowboys.
okay, yeah, that's stuck. Yeah, that sticks in a lot of craws. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
Correction. I meant that was it 1999,
98,
right?
98.
98,
Yeah,
98.
98.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
15 and
When
one
you said yeah,
season.
when you said 90, when you said that, yeah, when you said 90 91, I was hearing 98 anyway because I was thinking
I'm getting
50
old.
for Randy
I
Moss.
meant the 15 and one season that
Yeah,
ended up,
hey,
in the
Randy.
last overtime.
I heard Randy Moss when you said it, so it's like okay, 91. It's like okay, 98. Yeah, it's funny because I run into now there's like this big gap where I run into Vikings fans who are older. I'm 65, and I run into the ones who became fans with Randy Moss. And in the middle, there's not too many, like 40 or 50, unless you grew up in Minnesota, which obviously I didn't. I don't meet a lot of Vikings fans in the middle, but the Randy Moss season was 30 years ago, so it's like it's it's been a
Yeah,
while.
a long time ago.
It's been
Right.
a lot. Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it, but yeah. So those were the days. But anyway, so as far as the fan club, I just want to because obviously a lot of people are going to be watching this cast at some point. So you want to give us a little detail about the club, where you meet, what you do, things about because a lot of the things you told me about it with the Vikings and the former players and whatnot sounds extremely interesting. So there, so just a little more information would help.
Well, we've been for the last 4 years, 5 years. We've been at we had to move because the one we had been in for 10 years in Crystal City, Chenez, closed because of COVID.
Mm,
And within an hour, I found a new place. I called Joe. I said, "Get over here." We found a place called Ireland's Four Courts in Arlington,
okay.
and we've been a lot of places. They've all been good. But Joel and I have learned about the criteria that we look for and what makes a good venue to host our club. And having a good location that is accessible to everybody was important. This has it. Metro is like 200 yards away.
Okay.
Highway, it's easily accessible. And having a good management and a good owner is critical because they really set up the conditions that you can operate in. And we've had good relationships with all our restaurants and all the owners and managers, but now we have a tremendous one. And he's almost like ahead of us, thinking about what the problems are. And he'll give us solutions before we even have to ask. So it's a great relationship. I'll let Joel talk about our people here in a second. But as far as the venue goes, it's been renovated the last 2 years. We can hold maybe up to 600 people. We're looking at contingencies because we may butt against that sometimes. He works with us. They often have European Premier Soccer football on Sunday mornings, so we get some priority, but we have to sometimes wait to get the whole restaurant for all our people. We have a crowd like in excess of 250 or so. But wonderful. They have a stage there. Our opening night, we're hosting Robert Tate, number 28, if you remember him, cornerback.
I remember.
Played with Randy and Cunningham in that 1998 99 era. We have legends from time to time. They love coming to join us. They talk. We have raffles that often we have a jersey of an era that they played, so they can talk about Randy Moss or John Randall or something like that. And the cool stuff is to hear them go around and talk about the locker room stories that are kind of funny that give
Oh,
insight into the team.
that's good.
Joe will talk about other things that we do. We have songs we play after every Viking touchdown. As Joel said, we get good crowds. If we have a crowd under 100, it's because it's like a late night game and the Vikings aren't doing well. But we have a happy family. A lot of our people are work in the government or retired from government, retired military or active duty military. We have a lot of newcomers every week because we advertise well and through the Viking website. People coming to Washington for work or pleasure, they
Mm,
often find out about
sure.
us and they drop in. It's always cool to have people from Minnesota come in and join us. But we have a good time and it's an open family atmosphere. And Joel, why don't you fill in what I didn't talk about?
Yeah, like you mentioned, we kind of have a sort of I guess, a routine. You could say that on game days, we'll do the skull chant about 5-10 minutes before kickoff every game. We'll also do the skull chant after halftime, and occasionally at different points during the game. We have a raffle that we do at halftime to sell tickets throughout the first half. I will have usually very good prizes. I'll have, sometimes some autographed memorabilia. I might have like a Justin Jefferson autographed mini helmet, things like that. I'll have some Vikings apparel, some hoodies, some T-shirts, Vikings hats, some different jerseys, things like that. And we kind of do that every week, and everybody likes to join in. Everybody likes to be a winner. A lot of people complain that they don't win, but we have a lot of fun with it. And then at the end of the game, one of our traditions, Viking win. We play Another One Bites the Dust and a few other songs after that. So yeah.
Perfect.
We've also added this year. We're doing with the owner of Ireland's Four Courts, adding a tailgate barbecue to give that atmosphere. We're doing cornhole contests from time to time, Viking trivia contests for prizes. So we have other things. We don't try to crowd each day. We like each day to be different. There are games we don't do anything special other than the raffle and sing songs, the skull chant. But we sometimes have other things just to make it a little more fun. What we've added this year too is we're going to have 3 different NoVa Vikes Kids Days that are 1 o'clock games where we're going to have the Vikings have been great. PR hands out. They send us by email last year coloring pages of like Jefferson and the stadium and things like that. The kids like to color.
Mhm.
So we're doing that. We're going to have the kids do run the raffle for us. They're going to do the skull chant, which ought to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get a lot of kids, and it's a way of encouraging the families to bring their kids to our venue.
Sounds
Joe?
sounds sounds amazing. It all sounds absolutely amazing in that again, you've got a generation of Viking fans coming up. You've got guys who have been around sticking with this team for as long as we have. And the fact that you've built this community in an area that desperately, desperately needs places for Viking fans to gather. It's funny. One of the podcasts I listen to a lot, Purple Daily, they're constantly. Q and I were at their draft party in Minnesota this year, and one of the things they mentioned was of all the states in the union outside of Minnesota, Virginia has the most Vikings fans. They've got so many. He said maybe it's because of a lot of transplants, military and stuff, but it is amazing. And the fact that Northern Virginia, you've got. I mean, I used to live in Southern Maryland, and now I live in Hampton Roads area. So, I mean, the fact that I haven't been to one of your events is a crime, and I will definitely be showing up for one this year.
As Rusty said, we're gonna have Robert Tate the first Monday night game, and then later this season, we've kind of built a really good relationship with Leo Lewis and his wife Stacy, and they're going to be back again. I believe the date is November 2nd. So if you want
Okay.
to come out and join us, then that'd be a great time. And then we're also trying to do something with the Vikings. They're trying to help us get in touch with some quote unquote local Vikings players, former Vikings players, and hopefully some of them will join us November 16th. We don't have anything particularly determined yet as far as who or how many people can make it, how many former Vikings can make it out. But we look forward to that day, and when we get the information that we can pass along, we will.
That's absolutely
Oh,
amazing.
if I can add, we also have former running back Doug Chapman and his wife Nicole
I
live
remember Chip.
nearby, and they pop in 3 to 6, 7 times a year. So
That's
it's always fun to have them come and just have them talk to people. They walk around and talk to people at their table, take photographs, sign autographs, and it's a personal touch that people like.
it it has to be. I mean, a lot of players, they play and they're aloof, they're elusive, they don't want to be bothered, and then once they leave a team, that's it. They're
Yeah.
um at the draft party this year in Minnesota, who I was just talking about, Chuck Foreman was there, and he was signing autographs and talking. He and I walked over and I said a couple of things to him, and he talked to me. And then he asked me to sit down, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'll sit down. 20 minutes. I'm sitting down talking to Chuck Foreman about no football, just life in general. It's like, it's just two old guys talking about life in general. It's like this guy's a legend. He's got more, the Hall of Fame creds than I'll ever see. And he's like, well, just a regular guy. And he
He's
came.
come. He's come to visit us a few times.
Yeah.
He's that, and then I've actually got a quick Chuck Foreman story. I was out at the Vikings training camp in Mankato several years ago, and I think it was the time frame when Culpepper was playing, Moss was playing, Chris Carter was playing, and we had Chuck out maybe a year or two prior to that training camp, and I kind of waited. Chuck was signing autographs and stuff, and kind of waited till he was pretty much done, and I went over and said, "Hey, Chuck, do you remember us? We had you out in Virginia." And he said, "Oh yeah." He said, "I got a few more autographs. Stick around for a few minutes." And so kind of same thing. Chuck and I kind of sat and talked for about 20 minutes or so. He talked about his son Jay, who was then playing in the NFL with I think Houston. He was a linebacker for Houston. And then all of a sudden, Chuck noticed these people walking out of the dormitory area or one of the registration offices or something like that, and they were carrying these Viking duffel bags. And so he goes, let's go see if we can get one of those bags. And so we walked over there. We talked to the PR person. She said, "Well, these bags are for VIP season ticket holders." And they quickly responded. He goes, "Well, can you get my buddy here? Can you get Joel a pass to get on the field for the afternoon practice?" And so I ended up getting on the afternoon practice. It was kind of a
What
special teams practice. It was great. It was great. Chuck was great.
what are they gonna say? No to Chuck Foreman? It's like, no, sorry, Chuck.
Exactly. So yeah.
Oh man, that's good. That is absolutely great. But yeah, it's like yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward, to taking a visit up there and checking you guys out, seeing your club. Um, so now we're gonna pivot a little bit into actual football, the season. And I'm gonna ask the question that I ask almost every Vikings fan this off season. What do you expect this year?
Go ahead, Rusty. Go ahead.
Well, this is a season that if you read the articles, which are all speculation at this point. I've seen everything today from Vikings winning six to winning like 12, 13. I kind of think that the Vikings will be just over 500. I'm looking at maybe 11 wins. Is it hope? Yes. I think that the team has a lot of great capabilities that if things work out well with no injuries, I think they could finish, if not NFC North champs, I think maybe certainly a wild card.
Okay. So you're saying approximately how many wins did you say?
I
Roughly
think 10 or 11.
10 or 11. Okay. All right. And Joel?
Yeah, and kind of like what Rusty said. This has probably been one of the off seasons where we've probably seen more change in what the team was, even though last year was a 14 win team.
Mhm.
We've seen more positive change, working on the interior of the offensive line, working on the interior of the defensive line. Um, the young guys that, you know, maybe didn't do much last year, like someone like a Dallas Turner, could have a big breakout season this year, despite playing behind two All Pros. So I'm really looking forward to this season. I'm kind of right in the same territory as Rusty is with the win total. I'm going to say 11 or 12 wins,
Yeah.
for the season, and very very possibly the NFC North Championship. A lot of it is going to ride on how well JJ plays.
Yeah.
Okay. That's about where well, I'm a little lower. My expectations for this year, well, first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying I am blown away by the fact that a team that won 14 games last year actually took the offseason to improve. That may not reflect more wins. That's not what the improvement was. We Kevin O'Connell was very upset, visibly upset after the playoff game and wiped out the offensive line because the offensive line wasn't working. We improved our defense. So we improved our defensive line. We improved the trenches. S- You have to protect your young quarterback. And if you can't, it doesn't matter what the rest of the team does. We have always had skill players from the history of this team. So the way I see it, if we go 8 and 9, I'd be disappointed. I'd be a little bit surprised, but I see us winning 10, yeah, about 10 games this year. The 10 games that we win, however, would probably give us the division because there's 7 games in there that like for example, against the Eagles, against the Falcons, we
Yeah.
could very well sweep the Lions. I know Kevin O'Connell has a horrible record against them. We could very well sweep the Lions this year. I'm going to say this because this is how I feel. The Bears scare me none. They scare me none. I'm not afraid of the Bears at all this year. I think they're going to be a shambles. And, so
They
if
always seem to come through like that, don't they?
yeah, it's like every year it's hype about the Bears this year, Bears this year. The Lions, and we've been to Thanksgiving games in Detroit. We went to the one where Detroit had lost every game until they beat us. They're the anti-Philadelphia. Everybody in that stadium after that game was walking out, patting us on the back. Sorry, man. Oh, man. Good game. Sorry, sorry. They're apologizing. They want. They don't know how to celebrate, I guess, because they'd lost every game before. They're apologizing for winning the game. It's like, oh, good game, good game. Happy Thanksgiving. I was like, okay, whatever, man. Calm down. But
Yeah.
it's. I think we could. I think we may split with the Lions, but the rest of our divisional games, I see us winning I do. I see us winning our division, and that, of course, gets us into the playoffs. Kevin O'Connell's got to win a playoff game. I'd like to see that. I have a lot of faith in JJ McCarthy, probably more than I should, but I don't see this year as a Super Bowl year for the Vikings. I see next year as our window opening up. I see 2026 and 2027 and 2028 is our. That's just my prediction. So. So, any final words before we wrap up this episode, gentlemen?
I,
I'm
Shout.
looking forward to
Hmm?
the first few games. I think are going to be key for the Vikings because Addison out. If Thielen steps in and plays really well, what a good news story that is for all Viking fans,
Oh yeah,
and it could be great for the team.
and he's from Minnesota, I hear. Right?
yeah, yes.
Yeah,
It's like, and that's all we're gonna hear from the national media for the next I don't know how many weeks. Is and Adam Thielen is from Minnesota. Isn't he from Minnesota? Yes, he's from Minnesota. So, any shout outs or anything you guys want to give to anybody? Any thanks and
I'll give a shout out to Donnie Holler, who he was the person that got this club going back in the early '90s, and he's kind of been instrumental, especially early on, with us getting some former players to come out and watch games with us, and kind of creating a lot of the things that we do now. So I'll give him a shout out.
great. Rusty, anybody? Anything? Anybody? Any
I,
place?
I'd like to give a shout out to Joel, who keeps us together, but also Dave Cahill, who's the owner manager of Ireland's Four Courts. And I tell you what, he's a great supporter of the Vikings and what we do.
Okay, and again, the name and location, so that they can get a free plug here.
Uh,
Ireland's Four Courts.
Ireland Four Courts, and that's
Ireland's
in.
Four Courts. Yeah, it's in Arlington, Virginia, right off of Wilson, the courthouse area of Arlington.
Okay, excellent. And you guys meet there what time on game days?
Whatever time the game is. So Monday night, we games at 8 o'clock, 8:15, whatever kickoff is.
Hmm.
We're probably going to have people start showing up around 6:30.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure for you two gentlemen, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing you two again. If not in person, well, I'm planning on seeing you in person, but definitely
Please
want to
do.
have you on again during the season on one of the casts. We'll break down a few games. We'll talk a little more football,
Sure.
and whatever else pops up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
Razor.
Thank you,
Thank you
Razor.
guys. Thank you, Skull.
And Skull. Yes.
Let's go.
Cool.